This is Njambiz. Let's get this money. Yeah. And welcome back to my channel too. Welcome. Today we are getting rich. Yes, we are getting rich. We are becoming millionaires, and I kid you not, we are about to get this money. Any words, evers, we are going to talk about money today. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about money. So I read this book a couple of days ago, about 10 days ago. I read it. And it has been the fastest book I have ever read. I finished it in 24 hours. It has about how many pages? About 190 pages. It's not a big book, by the way. It's not something that will take you forever. I read it non-stop for a period of, in a couple of hours. I had it done in a couple of hours because obviously that 24 hours had sleep in it for about 8 hours. So no, I wasn't reading it continuously. So I read it in a couple of hours, and I wanted to do this video. I'm very inspired by this book, by the way. Very inspired. And I wanted to do this video because I posted this on my Instagram, I posted it on my Facebook, actually I posted it everywhere, including on my YouTube stories, which if you go to my channel should be under community, that tab written community. That's where you find my stories if you haven't already seen them on your homepage, suggestions and so on. So after posting it, I had a couple of people, one, borrow the book. I actually had a lot of people WhatsApp me, DM me trying to borrow this book, and unfortunately it's not mine, so I can't give it away. I've also borrowed it, so I can't give it away. But someone did suggest, because I cannot give the book away, if I can mention what it's about on my next video, so that you can also learn something. Someone mentioned that, and I was like, why don't I do a video about it? Because I'm feeling very inspired. So basically this whole video is inspired by the book. It's inspired by the book, with a little of my own commentary, of course, and my own challenges and views on some of the things, but basically inspired by the book. And if you're wondering, but who are you to give us millionaire advice and you're not a millionaire, sweetheart? That's exactly why I should be doing this video, because you need to see the journey, where we started and where we end up. No, I'm not a millionaire, but I am on the journey. I am starting the journey to becoming a millionaire. Mark my words, I'll probably come back and clip this video and tell you and show you. I am starting my journey to becoming a millionaire today, and we will look back on this and we will talk about it in the future. I don't know when that is, but we will come back to this. So I wanted to share it as a regular person who has probably the same challenges you do, maybe less, maybe more, depending on who you are. And hopefully we can start this journey together. Hopefully this video will inspire you to do something like this book inspired me to do something. And if you have any questions, comment below, let me know. And also, by the way, maybe I was very taken by this book because I have economics and accounting training in my background. It has a bit of math, which I will not include in this video obviously, but it has a bit of math. So, but I'll break it. I'll just summarize. I will summarize the lessons. And before I over talk and blabber too much, let's get started. Are you ready to become a millionaire? Are you ready to start your journey to becoming a millionaire? Just give this video a thumbs up right now before we get started. give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe. You're not be getting this wisdom and this knowledge, and you're not even hitting the subscribe button, which is absolutely free. Free of charge. 0 shillings, $0, 0 cents. So subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get started. Let's start this journey to becoming millionaires. Hey, hey, hey. Money, 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 money. Money. Let's get started. I'll do it in several parts. Just try and follow how the layout of the book, the chapters. But I'll do it in about 7 parts, 7 big topics that we need to cover for you to know how to become an automatic millionaire, inspired by the book. The first principle, and my favorite one in the book, is about paying yourself first. When you get that money, when you make that money, instead of spending, then budgeting for your bills and everything, and then what's left over you save, you flip that and pay yourself first. That is, you save first and then spend. Basically, paying yourself is saving, and then spend what is left. It's kind of the same way taxes work. They deduct the tax from your salary before you even get it, which is the same principle you should apply when you're saving, which is basically paying yourself. When you save, you pay yourself because you know when you're spending money, you're basically paying everyone else, from your landlord to the water company to the supermarket and all that. Yes. So that is the first principle, is paying yourself, and ideally what percentage should you pay yourself is up to you. The book recommends you can start with 1%, get comfortable with that, move to 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, up to whatever amount you're comfortable with, but the ideal being about 10 to 15% of your income, of your gross income, before you do all those other things. But this is actually the reason this got me very excited. I talked about this in my plan to save on my video for quarter one resolution audit. I'll link it somewhere up here. If you haven't watched it, check it out. I actually talked about this, about the new way I'm trying to save, which is putting aside 20% before I even touch that money. Whatever amount of money I make, I put aside 20%, which for me, again, if you haven't watched that video, let me not recap that whole thing again, but if you haven't watched that video, check it out. I'll circle back to that in a bit because we'll talk about it later on another point, which is debt. If you're wondering, I have loans, I have loans to pay. How can I save when I need to pay my loans? We'll talk about that ahead on one of the other points. Anyway, so ideally it's save, then budget the balance to spend. I think that's very clear in and of itself. And they say pay yourself because this is an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your future. It's an investment in you. So basically you're paying yourself. And I believe that's there because I can talk about that in the whole video. But the whole concept of it is saving. Becoming an automatic millionaire by saving and investing. Not just saving, but saving and investing. Letting your money work for you rather than you working for your money. And you cannot do that if you do not save. Save, invest. We good? I think the first one is clear. But if you have any questions, don't forget, you can always engage me down below and on my socials at anytime. So, let's go to number 2. Number 2 is a little something he calls the latte factor. And what this is, actually before even I get into what this is, I know that some of you who are thinking, oh, money is never even enough to save in the month. Like you're not living paycheck to paycheck. You're basically living beyond your means. If you're spending more than you're making, you're living beyond your means. And the truth is, most of us are probably doing that, which is why you probably have that mobile loan app installed. Simuli came to. I'm also guilty of the same, but if you're thinking I don't have enough to save because the money I make is barely enough to cover my expenses, this is where the second principle comes in. The latte factor basically is small things you spend on every day, small items that you probably do not need, most definitely don't need, but spend small amounts of money on every day that eventually adds up. And if you were to save that instead, you would have money to save. If you were to get rid of that expense, you would have money to save. And he used the latte factor because he was using an example of a cup of coffee, going to a coffee shop to buy a cup of coffee for, say, even $1 or 100 shillings in this case. Say you go to the coffee shop every day and you drink a cup of coffee for 100 bob every day. If you get rid of that expense, you can save 100 bob every day, which by the way is 36,000 in a year. If you save 100 bob every day, whether it's airtime you spend extra money on to buy those bundles to do probably something you don't need to do, maybe it's a snack, maybe it's an extra trip that sorry, interruption, background noise. Maybe it's an extra luxury that you probably don't need and can save on. So coffee was just an example, and each one of us has our own latte factor. Like eating out, going to that restaurant and plan having that meal at the restaurant. Maybe the movie you watched. I'm not talking about Endgames. The movie, paying for the movie. If you can do that, if you're doing that, then you definitely have something you can save. And if you save, say, 50 bob a day, if you save 50 bob a day, it's about 1500 bob a month, which is 18k in a year. And if you're thinking 18k is not a lot of money, well, it's 18k more than zero. So you have 18k that you initially did not have. You have saved an extra 18k. So the idea is to find your latte factor, that thing you spend money on that you probably don't need to, and you can probably do away with and save that money instead. Maybe it's a packet of cigarettes, maybe it's a coffee, maybe it's junk food, whatever it is, maybe it's airtime, whatever it is. Find it, eliminate it, put the money towards saving, and there you go. You're sorted. You're sorted. I know. So let's go to the third part, which is about discipline, which actually kind of counters what you might be asking on this one. So let's go to the third part. The third principle and idea is automating the process. I've actually interchanged them, the first three. I think that's not the same order he followed, but it's the ideal order for my thought process, so it still relays the message. But the third part is automating it, because discipline is now the hardest part of the process, because we are human and human nature will come in and you'll probably think, this month is a bit tight. Instead of saving that 10%, I have a couple of urgent things I need to sort. I'll do it next month. Or you come and say it's a tough time, I'm going to withdraw my savings and so on. So the third part is to help you kind of counter your human nature, because human nature, you'll get an excuse to not save. And trust me, it's very easy to get an excuse when you don't want to do something. So the third one, to counter discipline, it's automating the process. And by doing this, you kind of take away the need for you to have that strong will to save in order for you to save. So ideally what you do with this is if you're paid salary and salary is transferred directly into your bank account or your business payments, you pay yourself from your business directly to your bank account. Oh, and if you're in business, by the way, because this is easier for someone on salary to follow, if you're in business, you recommend that you pay yourself from your business a certain salary rather than getting the profit, which is basically netting the costs, expenses, and then paying yourself the rest. Give yourself a salary to make it easier for you to do this. And it will even help you with managing your finances for your business. Give yourself a salary. Anyway, so when your salary hits the account, you can set up a standing order or a direct debit from your savings account to automatically deduct whenever the cash comes in. Automatically deduct 10%, send it to your savings account. That way you don't have to make that decision, you don't have to make you don't have to take that step to convince yourself why you need to save that 10%. So you can automate the process. Have the bank deduct that amount before you even get it. The minute it hits your account, deduct it and send it to your savings account. And boom, automated. And your savings account should be earning an interest. By the way, don't send money to an account that has zero interest and it's just lying there. It needs to earn an interest. It needs to be making money for you. So get a good savings account that has good interest rates, and then you can be sending the money there. Okay? And when it gets enough to invest in something bigger, you can invest in something bigger. But we'll get to that bit of the investment later. So automate the process, make it easier to save. Bam! Number 4. So the other idea, and there's he tells a story about certain couples who are making an average income, who are able to retire millionaires because of their saving and investing and following these principles. But I'm not going to look at it from the retirement bit, because it's basically live and finish rich. Yes, you want to retire with something in the bank, but you also want to live like you want to live well. And this one definitely covers that. So number 4 being rainy day, saving something for a rainy day outside your savings, because sometimes things happen, life happens. That's normal. Life will happen. It's almost guaranteed at some point life will happen. And rather than taking your savings to sort that emergency out, have an emergency fund, a contingency fund for emergencies, so that you don't have to dip into your savings whenever things go whichever way they go. When life happens, you don't have to go and break the bank and empty your savings. So the idea is to have a rainy day emergency fund separate from your savings. So if you've decided you're going to pay yourself, maybe say 15%, dedicate 5% to an emergency fund, 10% to savings, and they should be in separate accounts. And again, remember, rainy day, emergency only. Don't dip into that anytime until you feel like, oh, it feels like a tough month. Money is not coming in as I wanted it to, so you go to your emergency fund. No. That is purely for emergencies, for life situations that you know what I'm talking about. Emergency situations when life happens and you need to sort something out. Emergency only. Not because you need to take that trip to Mombasa, or you need to get that nice suit or that dress or those shoes. No. Emergency only. So your savings over here are to secure your future, to invest in your future. Then your emergency fund for when life happens. Then your regular money is now to do those other things you want to do, like take that trip. Okay? Number 5. Number 5 is homeownership. Homeownership. And by the way, these principles, the younger you are, the better you are to start, because the Bible got enough time to accomplish them. These, by the way, are not, I should probably have put this disclaimer in the beginning. This is not a get rich instant kind of thing. This is not an overnight millionaire kind of thing. This is a long-term plan, millionaire plan kind of thing. This is an assured, guaranteed millionaire plan if you follow it. I should have put that in the beginning, but oh well. Let's continue. Homeownership. Strive to own your own home. There's a quote he says, renting cannot get you rich. He says you can't get rich renting, which if you think about it is kind of sort of true for most people. Actually, it's true. Okay, I think it's true for most people. There are people who can probably afford to. But if you think about your rent in terms of your income, it consumes so much of your income, almost 50% of your income. So imagine if you didn't have to pay rent, how rich would you be? If you think of all the money you've given your landlord. So he recommends that you become your own landlord, and become your own landlord first, not other people's landlord while still paying rent. Become your own landlord first. And this basically talks about since you've been saving, you have a good saving regime, go to your bank. If you have to get a loan, get a house, pay that loan off as fast as you can to own that home. And ideally, another principle they were talking about to clear your loan fast, which I also liked, is rather than paying a monthly installment for the loan, you pay half the installment every 2 weeks. And at the end of the year, you'll have made an extra payment towards that loan, which means you will clear that loan faster. So if you have a monthly installment, rather than pay the monthly, pay 50% of the installment after every 2 weeks and automate the process. If you can deduct it from your account directly, even better. But get your own home. And once you pay off that loan, you know, after you get the first one, you can get the second one, rent it out, and so on and so on and so on. It becomes easy after you get the first one. But if it's possible, look into homeownership. That's an investment worth making. Actually says that that's the best project you can do on loan. It's the only thing you should take a loan for, basically, is to own your own home. So yes, look into homeownership. And we are now on numero 6. Number 6. Number 6 is debt. Living a debt-free lifestyle. And like I said, if you're like most of us, myself included, you probably have a few loans here and there, some debt, mobile app loan maybe, health loan maybe, bank loan maybe, whatever it is. And for whatever reason you took it, you probably have a loan here and there. Probably. And I know this doesn't apply to everyone. But if you do, I know you're thinking, how do I save when I'm in debt? Doesn't make sense. And this is the principle he applied. If you've decided to pay yourself first 10%, that's the percentage you've chosen. The idea is get out of debt without losing the psyche for saving by dividing the two. So you split the two. You give, if you're paying yourself 10%, you give 5% to debt repayment and you give 5% to savings, to paying yourself. That way your debt reduces as your savings are still growing. That way you can continue with this regime after your debt is cleared. Of course, the other 5% goes to savings. Remember, you're paying yourself 10%. So the other 5% goes to saving and you're doing 10%. This will motivate you, this will inspire you so that you don't lose sight of the process because you're not seeing any results. By paying the debt, yes, you're seeing the results of the debt reducing, but you have zero on your side. So that was the idea behind the debt-free lifestyle, basically to get out of debt, pay 50% of your pay to yourself to debt. And also avoid debt. Avoid taking any more loans. Obviously, you're trying to get out of debt, so avoid taking any more loans if you can. Of course you can. You try avoid getting any more loans. And the only loan, like I said, that he recommends, that the only loan that you should take is to buy a home, because that is a worthwhile investment. And you're actually investing, you're buying with other people's money, which even better. So that's the debt-free, the debt bit of it. I will do a whole video. I cannot talk enough about this, so I'll probably do a whole other video on debt and mobile loan apps, and this whole, we have started digging ourselves in with mobile loans, but in a different video, because that's a very long conversation, and I had mentioned I'll talk about it, and I will talk about it. So if you have any questions or specific points you want me to mention in that one, comment below. So we are on our last principle, number 7. Number 7 is automatic tithing. This one is a very simple one. If you're a Christian, you know about giving 10%. And even if you're not a Christian, this actually applies to a lot of communities, the giving back. Basically, think of it as giving back to the community. It is a good deed in itself. You feel good about yourself. You feel like a millionaire already when you give back. So it's automating tithing. If you want to tithe, which you should, give back to the community, is you automate the tithe as you automate the savings. This doesn't even have much to it. That's pretty much it. Just automate the process, so that again you don't have to make that decision to tithe. That's it. And that's it. I know the video has been a bit lengthy, I know, and I could not capture all the sentiments captured in here, and all the stories, examples given, the math given. I cannot capture all that in this video, so I recommend you find this book. I've just given you snippets, basically my own summary of it, and there's still so much I would have wanted to share, but again, limit of the video length, I could not talk about it too much. But I hope you have learned something. I hope you're feeling inspired to start this journey with me. Become an automatic millionaire. Let's do this, people. Let's do this. Let's get rich. Who doesn't want to become a millionaire? Who? Let's do this. So if you're starting this journey with me, and I really hope you are, because man, I am psyched for this journey. If you're starting this journey with me, comment below. Just tell me you want to become an automatic millionaire, and we are doing this together. Comment below and let me know. If you think of any other challenges with those principles, with following the process, just let me know in the comment section below. Let's start this conversation. And that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you got a bit inspired to do something. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Like the video, give it a like. If you enjoyed it, if you learned something, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button over there. Tap that. Tap the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button to get notified when I put out new videos. Get a notification every time I put out a new video. And obviously comment below, let me know what you think. And if you watched this far, just comment in Njambiz. I just know you got this far, and congratulations. Thank you for the support. I love you, people. I love you, my peoples. We'll be talking money a lot more videos to come. So if there's anything specific you want to talk about, comment below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.